everyone, and welcome to today's episode of the vlog. So in today's episode we start off in the garage because the last week, if you remember, I left you with a bit of an issue because we couldn't find an engine. The engine that I'd organised that had fell off the back of a lorry. Yeah, go figure. And of course we then was left trying to find a new motor. Well, we actually did manage to find a new motor. In fact, I'm glad that original engine fell off the back of a lorry, because that was just under 100,000 miles, that engine. This one, it's a lot better state. In fact, let me show you what we got. And here is our new engine. Now, what is good about this engine? Well, everything is on there. We've got our air conditioning pump, we've got our alternator, our fuel pump. But not only that, not only is it complete, look at the back. Turbo, everything is on the vehicle already. So it's just a case of fitting the clutch, and then the clutch assembly, and then a gearbox, and then straight on. But other than that, it's a complete engine, and that is fantastic because it saves me having to do everything that and to get the engine back up and dressed. It's even got a wiring loom on there, which is brilliant. The only thing it doesn't have is injectors, and everyone does these on these engines. They take the injectors off because they are so expensive, so they just sell those on. But that's fine because I've got everything else that needs to be done. And check out that turbo. That turbo is in great condition. Just a little bit of soot in there, which is absolutely perfect, but other than that, it spins just fine. Whereas R1 is all sooted up. So yeah, so we're in a good place. So what we need to do now is we'll fit the clutch on there. We've got a new cam belt kit to fit on there, but the first thing I need to do is get this engine off, because that engine is obviously surplus to requirement. We're going to take off this little shield here because we're going to use that in the new vehicle, and then we'll put the clutch and get that all sorted. So I'll do that off camera and then we'll come back.
Many tic-tacs later.
Right, so we've just, as you can see, engine is now swapped around. So the old engine is on the floor. Now, I was a little bit concerned about these, but I'm no longer concerned, because this is the same on the VW on the Caddy. So this here, I was wondering what this is. It's obviously a vacuum control valve, but obviously because of where it was, I thought, oh, that's different. But when you go to the Caddy, you see exactly the same valve here with all the various pipes all connected up. So it's actually saved me a job, because now I know exactly how this is all connected up. And here you go. So this is not the valve, this is the valve here. Okay, that's the valve there. And then when we look at the valve here, so this is bolted to the bulkhead, and then if you follow it up through here, you then see that same valve there as well. So that was the only concern. And then the other one was that we've got the EGR valve. We've got two pipes going on this side, whereas on this engine you've only got one. But here is the other pipe. It's basically a water cooling. It's the it heats the EGR system, and it's just rerouted. So we've got two pipes coming down the front here instead, and then they go back exactly the same way. So here we go. So here's one in here and one in here, which is the same as the arrangement on this engine here. So again, we're not worried about that. That's the only difference between the two engines, and it's just because this is in a different car. So with that confirmed, I can now work on putting the clutch back on this vehicle. I've got my clutch alignment tool and everything ready to go, so we're all good. So we'll do that, and then we'll look at doing the old cam belt as well. Right, so that's the housing and everything in place. I had to torque it up off camera because I couldn't get the firewall to stay still, so I locked it with my kit so I can do that. Okay, right, centering the clutch. So the clutch needs to be center so that the dry shaft pin, when it goes in, it's going to go straight into the slide, and then it's going to be able to bolt in place without that being misaligned. So a lot of people do it by eye. I've got this little tool here, and what it does is essentially you push this through the middle, you then tighten it so it locks into the middle here, and what it does, this cone shape here pulls into the splines for the clutch housing here, and then it centers the clutch. And then once you do that, you then tighten up the outer screws, which tight to 20 newton meters. So it's a really simple tool, but very effective. So in, and then we tighten it by doing that. And of course, when that happens, the splines come out and it automatically locks. You can see it doing it now. So if I continue spinning, what it will eventually do is it will pull the clutch into place. And actually, let me just show you how loose the clutch was, so you can see it actually, that it does move. So you can see that the clutch moves up and down. So at the moment it's laying down the bottom because obviously that's where gravity is taking it. So by pushing this into place, let's do that now, we'll pull that out a little by spinning it up, and that will pull. Here you are. See how it goes, it pulls that in. That's how it works, by centering the clutch and then tightening it up. So we'll do that, and then we'll tighten those up as well. Okay, so clutch is on now, and if you look down the middle there, you will see that that is as straight through as you can get. Yeah, that's all lined up. Might be difficult to tell on the camera because the angles that it comes in, but that is straight. Okay, so next phase is to put the gearbox on. Fortunately, it's a manual gearbox, which are lighter, but they are a struggle to get on. So and we're hoping that I have as good a normally when I fit the automatics, they go in straight away. Don't ask me why, but I've never had any problems with them. I'm hoping the manual should be pretty much the straight. Once we get it on the spline, it should just go straight on. At least that's the plan. Let's see how we get on. Alright, that gearbox went on really easy. That was really good. So we just got one nut to do underneath, one bolt to do. It's difficult to get to at the moment, so we'll not worry about that. But what we're going to do, we're going to spin the engine 180 degrees so we can now concentrate on fitting the cam belt. This was a job that I wasn't looking forward to, but actually it's been alright. It's been really good. Alright, so let's give this engine a bit of a twirl, and let's now concentrate on fitting the cam belt. Okay, so we've got the engine turned now 90 degrees. Well, yeah, about that. We've got it in a position that it's going to be mounted into the vehicle, which makes it easier for me to just go straight into there once we've done this cam belt kit. So what we'll do, we'll take off this cover here, but before we do that, we're going to take off this engine mount. So we need to remove this mount here, and then we can work our way moving these plastic bits. We're going to swap out this belt. This serpentine belt is, I can see it's just beginning to fray. It's not bad, but it ain't good either. So we'll swap that out as well, and then we will get to the cam belt. We'll lock the cam in position, and then we'll remove the old belt. So let's strip all this down, then we'll just have a little bit of a chat about the belt procedure and how we lock it in place. Okay, looks like this cam belt has recently been changed. There are some telltale signs. That belt looks really new, like it's been changed literally in the last few months. There's absolutely no wear or tear on there. That pulley gear looks new. These look new as well. The rollers, you can see like a new seal in there. And the biggest telltale is the marks. You see the marks there? So this engine has only done 76,000 miles, which means it has recently been changed. So why did they not just change this serpentine belt, which is, you can see, is beginning to fray? How ridiculous is that? Really is. But that's good news, because it obviously saves me a job. But yeah, you can definitely tell that it's been done recently. So that's one less job to do. In fact, even all that inside there looks new. Yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to check the timing. I'm going to turn the crank around and just make sure that it lines up with all the marks there, and as long as it does, then we're all good. We're no need to change that. We'll just have to change the serpentine belt, and then we are good to get this engine actually in place. Right, so the timing marks are spot on. You really can't tell with that, but basically that mark lines up with the two little marks in there, lines up with, I think what they did was he put two marks, whoever did this, to get a reference. It's kind of blurred away there, but from what I've checked, looking at other references online, this is absolutely spot on. So there's no need to change all this is new. You can just tell that it's been new, that it's all been changed. So absolutely pointless exercise there. Included a water pump as well. So, right, let's put this back together, give it a bit of a clean, and then I'm going to position the engine into the van, and then we will go and get the serpentine belt. We're going to get a new one of these. Why did they never change that? That's so ridiculous. Anyway, let's put this back together. Who needs an engine hoist, eh? When you've got a flatbed table. I do. Anyway, so the engine is pretty much in position. We just need to push it back a little bit more, but I haven't done so because I need to now de-wire all of this cable in here so that we can use the existing wiring and make sure that we basically plug in stuff the way it's supposed to be. So, and there's a couple of cables at the back that I have to get to, and it's easier to do it with the engine not mounted in place because it's really difficult to get to those ones. So that's the reason why we've left it out like that, if you're wondering why we haven't bolted it in place. Alright, so we managed to be able to do quite a lot today. Gearbox is in place, we fitted the clutch. We didn't need to do the old cam belt because it looks like it's recently been done. Definitely has recently been done. And being the fact that this engine has already done 76,000 miles, why would I fit another cam belt for something that's already been done? So, some good progress. I reckon that... No, I'm not going to say anything. Let's carry on with the actual wiring up, because now we need to make sure that everything basically connects up and goes where it's supposed to go, and that's really going to be the proof of the pudding. So stand by for that. Alrighty, so quite a lot done today. I know it doesn't seem like it on camera, but trust me, I've got quite a bit accomplished. So I've started to de-wire the vehicle or the engine block and replace it with some stuff. You'll see more of that next week. But next week we hope to get it all in, and I'm going to be looking at the injectors next week. I'm looking to take them apart and just give them a bit of a service and a clean up before we put them back in, make sure they are good, because I don't want that to cause an issue when we try and start the vehicle up, particularly cylinder number 1, the one that we saw last week that was really oily. If you haven't seen that video, watch last week's video and you'll see what I was talking about. Not sure whether that is just a cylinder that is just flooded through, or whether the actual needle in, or that the ejector is letting fuel out. So we're going to get down with those a little bit of service before we put them back in the vehicle, and then we're getting very close to first start, which will be a momentous day when that happens. Good. In the meantime, if you are a casual viewer, and there are so many of you that are, I keep saying this every week, but I would really appreciate if you could click on the subscribe button and click on the bell notification so you know when we release a new video, which is every Monday, of course, at 6 PM. For those of you who just watch and then don't subscribe, I get it, who you don't want to have so many subscriptions, but it helps all of our smaller channels to get a more of an impression. There it is. Thank you, everyone. We will see you on next week's video.